Train your mind to be strong. Your mind is your greatest enemy or your strongest weapon. Which one is yours? Think about that for a moment. Every dream you've killed, every opportunity you've ignored, every moment you said, "I can't," was it because you truly couldn't? Or because your mind convinced you not to try? This is the war no one talks about, the one inside your head. Meet James, a 29-year-old man who once had big dreams, launching a startup, traveling the world, maybe even becoming a writer. But over time, life dimmed his spark. He was laid off during a company downsizing. His relationship crumbled under pressure. Bills kept piling up, and self-doubt wrapped around his mind like a vice. Every day, James woke up feeling like he was drowning in invisible quicksand. He'd scroll through social media, seeing others thrive, and the voice in his head whispered, "You're behind. You'll never make it. You're not enough." That voice became louder each day until he stopped dreaming altogether. Then one night, sitting alone in the dark, James hit his lowest point. He asked himself, "What happened to me?" He realized something brutal, but honest. It wasn't the world that broke him. It was his own mind. So he made a promise, not to change everything overnight, not to fake motivation, but to fight back. He began training his mind every single day like a muscle. He started with small wins, woke up early, took cold showers, went on long walks, read powerful books, showed up when it was inconvenient, and day by day, thought by thought, the weak voice in his head grew quieter, and the strong one returned. Today, James isn't perfect, but he's mentally strong, and that has changed everything. Let me ask you a question. Do you quit when it hurts? When life punches you in the face, do you retreat or rise? Are your thoughts lifting you or limiting you? Have you become a prisoner of your own mind? You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just untrained. See, your mind can either become a weapon that cuts through fear, failure, and doubt, or it can become a prison that keeps you small, scared, and stuck. And here's the truth. No one is born mentally strong. Mental strength is not genetic. It's trained. Representatives, discipline, grit. You earn it. We've been taught to train our bodies, our resumes, our skills, but not our minds. That's why so many break down under pressure. They've never been taught how to think clearly in chaos, how to act when motivation dies, how to keep going when every part of them wants to quit. But all of that changes today. This isn't motivation. This is reprogramming. This is about rewiring your brain for resilience, toughness, clarity, and strength. No fluff. No hype. Just the truth about how to become unshakable. Because life will test you. You will be rejected. You will fail. You will feel like giving up. And in those moments, mindset is everything. So if you're tired of overthinking, tired of procrastinating, tired of fear dictating your choices, tired of breaking your own promises, then this is your video. This is your turning point. This is the moment you stop being a victim of your thoughts and start becoming the master of them. The strongest people you admire? They weren't always that way. They trained. They suffered. They bled mentally before they became who they are. And so will you. In this journey, I'll walk you through the exact steps to build mental toughness that lasts, to think stronger, act sharper, feel deeper, but without crumbling. You're not weak. You're just untrained. But by the end of this video, that will change. It's time to learn how to silence the noise, to beat the voice of doubt, to rise from failure, not run from it, to finally take control of the only thing you've ever truly had, your mind. Are you ready? Let's begin. The hidden war in your head. Most people don't lose in life. They lose long before life ever gets a chance to test them. They lose in their minds. That's where the real battle is, and always has been. Not in the classroom, not in the boardroom, not in the gym, the job market, or the bank account. It's in that invisible space between your ears. You can look successful on the outside and be crumbling within. You can be surrounded by opportunities but blinded by doubt. You can have every tool at your disposal and still feel like you're not enough. Why? Because the hidden war in your head is always running, and most people are losing it. Let's talk about it. There's an enemy inside all of us, and it doesn't wear a uniform or announce itself. It creeps in quietly. A whisper here, a thought there. You're not smart enough. You're too late. Why even try? You brush it off until that voice becomes your truth. That voice becomes your guide. And then, without realizing it, you're no longer living your life. You're surviving inside a mental prison. That's the war. It's not obvious. It doesn't scream. It seduces. And the weapons it uses? Overthinking, fear, doubt, insecurity, comparison, comfort, weakness. You don't see them coming, but they're there every day, every minute, controlling the way you act, the way you feel, and the way you see yourself. Let's break them down. Overthinking. You want to move forward, but your mind keeps spinning. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if they laugh? So you wait, and wait, and wait. Paralysis becomes your pattern. You think so much that you do nothing. You die in your delay. Fear. You're afraid of pain, of rejection, of not being good enough. So you stay where it's safe. You make comfort your God. You don't take the risk. And that dream? It slowly dies inside you while you smile for the world. Doubt. You've tried before and failed. So now you doubt yourself. You second-guess your instincts. You don't trust your own voice. You outsource your confidence to other people's opinions. And without realizing it, you abandon your path because your self-belief is missing. Comparison. You scroll through social media, comparing your behind-the-scenes to everyone's highlight reel. You feel behind, unworthy, lost. You forget your journey. You forget your timing. And your mind tells you you're not enough. Weakness. You want it easy. You want shortcuts. You want motivation to carry you. But life doesn't work that way. And when it gets hard, you retreat. You give up. You justify. You protect your pride instead of building your power. These are not random thoughts. These are weapons. And most people never learn how to fight them. So they live quietly, defeated, smiling on the outside but collapsing within. Here's the truth that most will never tell you. Your biggest enemy is not out there. It's inside. Not your boss. Not your background. Not the economy. Your mind. That's the battlefield. And until you learn how to win there, you'll keep losing here. But here's the good news, and it's not hype. It's real. Mental strength is not a gift. It's not a personality trait. It's a muscle. And just like any muscle, it can be trained, stretched, tested, and built. This is the core truth of everything you're about to learn. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the strength of your mind. You can have the best strategies, the best tools, and the best network. But if your mind breaks under pressure, nothing else matters. The strongest people in the world aren't those who avoid failure. They're the ones who know how to get up faster than they fall. They've trained their minds to lean into resistance, not run from it. They don't wait to feel confident. They act and let confidence catch up. They don't avoid discomfort. They seek it. because they know that's where growth lives. Mental strength is not about being emotionless. It's about being resilient, focused, grounded. You can feel fear and still move. You can feel doubt and still decide. You can feel broken and still rebuild, because you are not your thoughts. You are the one who trains them. So if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of losing battles no one can see, if you're tired of being at war with yourself, then let this sink in. You are not weak. You are just untrained. Let that hit you. You've trained your body. You've trained for a job. You've trained to speak well, to fit in, to please others. But have you ever trained your mind? If not, it's no surprise you've struggled. It's no surprise you overthink, or freeze, or panic, or quit. The good news is that ends now. This message, this journey, isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about reclaiming your mental control. It's about becoming mentally fit, so when life throws punches, you don't fold. And just like with your body, the results don't come overnight, but they do come with consistency. You'll learn to control what you focus on, to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it, to choose discipline over emotion, to stay calm in chaos, to bounce back faster, think clearer, act stronger. Because you can have peace in a storm if your mind is trained to stay steady. The hidden war in your head is real, but so is your ability to win it. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses which thoughts get to live. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be mentally armed, and that's exactly what you're about to become. This is where the war ends, and your training begins. Chapter 1. You versus you. There's a war happening inside you, and the battlefield is quiet. No bombs, no alarms, no sirens, just two voices fighting for control. One is loud, lazy, and familiar. The other is quiet, focused, and rare. And every decision you make feeds one of them. This isn't about anyone else. Not your parents, not your past, not society, not even your circumstances. This is about you versus you. Every day, you wake up with a choice. Do you listen to the weak voice or the strong one? Let's talk about the weak voice first. You know it. You've heard it. It's the one that says, sleep a little longer. You've had a hard week. Skip the gym. You're too tired to keep going. You'll start tomorrow. It sounds like kindness, but it's not. It's the slow poison of comfort. It convinces you to stay small, to hide, to delay. It's emotional. It justifies weakness with stories that feel good in the moment, but destroy you in the long run. It's the part of you that always negotiates with discipline. You tell yourself, just this once, and the weak voice nods in agreement. But just this once becomes a habit, and that habit becomes your character. Here's the truth. The weak voice is not your friend. It's your inner enemy, and every time you feed it with attention, you give it more control. It gets louder, stronger, and more persuasive. But there's another voice too. Quieter, sharper, relentless. The strong voice. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for attention. It's calm, focused, and unshaken. It says, get up. Do the hard thing. Stick to the plan. Remember who you said you wanted to become. It's not emotional. It's committed. It doesn't need motivation to act. It lives on purpose. It shows up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And the difference between those who break and those who build is this. They've trained themselves to listen to the strong voice. Most people don't know that there's a choice. They believe every thought they have is truth. They identify with every emotion, every excuse, every fear. But mentally strong people? They don't react blindly. They observe. They decide. They lead themselves. And that's where the real shift happens. You need a tool for this war. Something simple but powerful. It's called the observer technique. Here's how it works. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, lazy, emotional, or tempted to quit, pause. Don't act. Just observe. Step outside of your thought and ask, is this the weak voice or the strong one? It's a question that puts space between stimulus and response. Let's say you wake up and don't feel like getting out of bed. Instead of just reacting, use the technique. You think, I'm tired. I'll work out later. Pause. Ask, which voice is this? You'll quickly recognize it. That's the weak voice, the emotional voice, the voice that has lied to you before and left you with regret. Now, shift. Call on the strong voice. Ask, what would the strongest version of me do right now? And act on that. This is how you begin to build mental strength. Not with willpower alone, but with awareness and conscious decisions. Because discipline doesn't come from feelings. It comes from the ability to separate your higher self from your impulses. Quote this to yourself often. Discipline begins the moment you stop negotiating with weakness. When you hear the weak voice, don't debate it. Don't argue with it. Don't try to convince it. Ignore it. Starve it. Move anyway. Because the longer you entertain weakness, the more believable it becomes. Here's something most people won't tell you. Strong people don't always feel like doing the hard things. They just do them anyway. They've built that mental muscle. They've chosen the strong voice so many times that it became second nature. But it started with a choice. One small moment at a time. And so can you. Imagine if you went 30 days choosing the strong voice. No snooze button. No emotional eating. No skipping the workout. No procrastinating the project. No compromising the goal. Where would your life be? How different would you feel? That version of you? It already exists, but it's buried under layers of comfort, distraction, and mental weakness. Every time you choose strength over emotion, you dig that version out. And here's the kicker. It gets easier. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You stop being a slave to your moods. You stop being swayed by fear. You stop letting your feelings run your life. Instead, you lead your mind like a trained warrior. You command it. You direct it. And that's real freedom. So, here's your challenge from this chapter. For the next 24 hours, practice the observer technique. Anytime you face a decision, big or small, ask, which voice is this? And choose the strong one. It won't be perfect. You'll slip. You'll hear the weak voice often. But each time you notice it, you gain power. Each time you act against it, you gain strength. And one day, you'll wake up and realize the weak voice is almost gone. It still speaks, but it no longer controls you. That's the power of training your mind. That's the power of you versus you. And that's the first step to becoming unshakable. Let's keep going. Chapter 2. Break the chains of comfort. Most people will never become who they're meant to be, not because they aren't capable, but because they're too comfortable. Comfort is the silent killer. It doesn't destroy you with fire or violence. It numbs you with softness. It whispers, you're okay. Don't try too hard. Just relax. But here's the truth you need to hear. Comfort is not your friend. It's a chain, a trap, a prison made of soft pillows. And the more you choose it, the weaker you become. Let's start with what I call the comfort trap. It's everywhere. In your pocket, on your plate, in your schedule. We've been conditioned by society, by technology, by convenience, to chase what feels good now and ignore what builds strength later. We live in a world where scrolling is easier than sitting with your thoughts. Binging a show is easier than reading a challenging book. Complaining is easier than confronting. Staying in bed is easier than working out. Saying, "I'm fine," is easier than having an honest conversation. And every time you choose the easier road, you reinforce a dangerous idea in your brain. That life should feel good all the time. But that's a lie. Ease doesn't build anything. Comfort doesn't create strength. The strongest minds, the most resilient people, the ones who don't break when life gets hard, they've been through discomfort on purpose. They've sweat, bled, failed, faced rejection, challenged themselves daily, not because it felt good, but because it made them strong. So ask yourself honestly, are you addicted to ease? Have you built a life around avoiding hard things? Is your comfort zone really a safety zone, or just a graveyard for your potential? If you want to build a strong mind, you have to make a radical decision. You must start choosing discomfort on purpose, not recklessly, not all at once, but consistently, daily. And that's where the one hard thing rule comes in. It's simple but powerful. Every day, do one thing that's uncomfortable, on purpose. Not because it's necessary, not because you have to, but because you're training your mind to stop fearing pain. Examples? Wake up at 5 a.m., even if you don't have to. Take a cold shower. Say no to junk food. Speak your truth in a room where it's easier to stay silent. Start that business you've been overthinking. Have the hard conversation you've been avoiding. Go for a run when your body says, "Not today." It doesn't have to be massive, but it has to be intentional. The point isn't the result, it's the training. You're reprogramming your mind to stop running from resistance. You're saying, "I can do hard things, and I will." Now, let's talk about something we've all been taught to avoid: pain. We treat pain like the enemy, like something to run from. But pain is not your enemy. It's your ally. Pain is a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow. It reveals your weaknesses. It forces you to evolve. Physical pain tells you when your body needs care. Emotional pain tells you where your heart needs healing. Mental pain tells you what thoughts are limiting you. But most people numb it. They eat to escape it. They scroll to ignore it. They work just enough to avoid confronting it. But what if you stopped numbing? What if you leaned into it instead? Every time you embrace discomfort, you're sharpening your edge. You're building a kind of toughness that doesn't collapse under pressure. Think of it like this. A muscle grows when you stress it, not when you rest it. You lift heavier. You stretch further. You push past fatigue. And the same is true for your mind. Mental strength is forged in the moments you'd rather quit, but don't. It's built every time you choose pain with purpose. And here's the paradox. The more you choose discomfort intentionally, the more peace you create internally. Because the person who trains in difficulty doesn't fear life's storms. They've seen worse, and they've survived it. So how do you start? Start small. Stay consistent. Be honest. Here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, commit to the one hard thing rule. Every morning, write down your one hard thing for the day. Then do it, no matter how you feel. At the end of the week, journal what changed. How did you feel after doing hard things? What did you learn about yourself? You'll notice something shocking. You'll feel more alive, more in control, more powerful. Because discomfort doesn't just build strength. It builds confidence, pride, integrity, self-respect. And all of those things come together to form an unshakable mind. Let me leave you with this truth. If you keep chasing comfort, life will always feel hard. But if you chase discomfort, life becomes easier because you become stronger. So break the chains, stop being seduced by ease, and start doing what discomfort demands of you. That's how you train your mind to be strong, and that's how you rise. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. Self-discipline is freedom. There's a lie we've been told over and over again. A lie that's made people weak, scattered, and full of regret. The lie is this: you need motivation to move. You've heard it 1,000 times. Wait for inspiration. Find your why. Get motivated. But here's the truth. Motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. And if you build your life around waiting to feel ready, you'll waste your entire life on pause. Real change, real growth, real strength comes from something deeper, something far more powerful than motivation. It comes from discipline. Self-discipline is not punishment. It's not cruelty. It's not about being strict or robotic. Self-discipline is freedom. It's the key to peace, success, clarity, and control. Let's define it clearly. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Read that again. Discipline means waking up early even when you're tired. It means saying no to distractions even when they feel good. It means showing up, sticking to your word, and doing the right thing, especially when your emotions try to talk you out of it. Because every time you do the right thing in the face of resistance, you send a message to your mind. I am in control, not my feelings. That's personal power. Now look at your daily life. Every small choice you make is either building your strength or eroding it. Hit the snooze button, you lose a battle. Scroll instead of studying, you lose a battle. Eat junk because it's easy, lose. Skip the gym, lose. Lie to avoid discomfort, lose. These don't seem like big deals in the moment, but they stack. Every small surrender adds weight to your weakness. But here's the good news. The opposite is also true. Get up when it's hard, win. Read instead of binge, win. Choose the truth over comfort, win. Push through when you want to quit, major win. These little wins build momentum. They wire your brain for strength, and they prove something essential. You don't need to feel good to do great things. One of the most powerful tools for developing discipline is something called the 5-second rule, popularized by Mel Robbins. It's simple. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you have 5 seconds to move before your brain talks you out of it. Here's how it works. You wake up and don't want to get out of bed. You count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then move. No thinking, no negotiating, just action. Why does it work? Because it shuts down the part of your brain that overthinks and makes excuses. It builds a habit of acting first, thinking later, when the action is the right one. Try it. Anytime you hesitate to do something hard, count backward and move. Your brain is a master negotiator. It will always argue for comfort. But you don't need to argue. You just need to move. And now, let's introduce something just as powerful. Micro-discipline wins. We often think discipline has to be extreme. Wake up at 4 a.m. Run 10 miles. Work non-stop. But that's not sustainable. True discipline is built in small moments, little decisions, tiny battles, quiet victories. Examples of micro-discipline wins: putting your phone in another room while working, drinking water instead of soda, meditating for 5 minutes when you want to scroll, writing 1 page even if you're tired, saying no to gossip, finishing what you started. Each one may seem small, but each one strengthens the muscle of your willpower. And here's what happens over time. Your confidence grows. Your identity shifts. You stop saying, "I want to be disciplined," and you start living as someone who is. That's the key. Discipline isn't something you try. It's something you become. And the more you practice it, the more freedom you gain. Freedom from regret. Freedom from self-loathing. Freedom from the chaos of an undisciplined life. Because when you're disciplined, your life becomes clear. You're not pulled around by impulses. You don't rely on luck or mood. You wake up knowing exactly what to do, and you do it. Let's be honest. Life is full of pain, but you get to choose your pain. The pain of discipline today, or the pain of regret tomorrow. Which one will you choose? Every time you choose discipline, you choose strength. Every time you act without waiting for motivation, you become more dangerous, more focused, more in control. Remember, discipline is not a prison. It's a passport. It doesn't lock you in. It unlocks everything you want: health, focus, confidence, results, freedom. So the next time your feelings say, "Not today," you say, "I don't listen to weakness. I train it out." This is how strong minds are built. Brick by brick. Choice by choice. Battle by battle. And the best part? You don't have to do it all at once. Just start with one disciplined decision. Today, then another tomorrow, then another. Soon, you won't need motivation at all, because you'll have something better: a trained mind, a free life, a powerful identity. Self-discipline is not the hard life. It's the best life. So, take the small wins. Act in 5 seconds. Stop waiting to feel ready. Do it anyway. Do it now. And watch how strong you become. Let's keep building. Chapter 4. How to win emotional battles. Let's get real. Emotions can hijack your life. You can have all the goals, routines, and plans in the world, but if you don't know how to handle what you feel, none of it will stick. Emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control you. One of the biggest lies we believe is this: if I feel it, it must be true. But that's not how it works. Yes, emotions are real. They are valid, but they are not always the truth. You can feel like you're a failure and still be full of potential. You can feel like you're alone and still be loved. You can feel like quitting and still be on the edge of a breakthrough. Here's what no one teaches us in school. Emotional strength isn't about never feeling. It's about learning how to feel and still choose your response. Let's break that down. Common emotions that sabotage mental strength. 1. Fear. Fear is the voice that says, "What if I fail?" It makes you shrink. It whispers worst-case scenarios. But fear isn't always fact. It's often a protective guess from your brain. The stronger your mind, the less you obey fear. 2. Sadness. Sadness isn't weakness, it's a message. But staying in sadness without moving through it, that can keep you stuck. Strong minds learn to feel grief, not get swallowed by it. 3. Shame. Shame says, "You're not good enough. You're broken." It isolates you, makes you hide. But shame only has power in silence. Speak it. Challenge it. It loses strength when brought into the light. Virter anger. Anger isn't evil. It's a signal. It points to something that feels unjust or painful. But untrained anger explodes. It damages. Emotional strength means channeling anger, not being controlled by it. So how do we win the battle? With 3 powerful techniques. 1. Label and reframe. This is simple, but game-changing. When you feel something intense, pause and name it. I feel overwhelmed. I feel insecure. I feel frustrated. Why label it? Because neuroscience shows that naming an emotion reduces its intensity. It shifts brain activity from the emotional centers, like the amygdala, to the rational centers, like the prefrontal cortex. Once you've labeled the emotion, reframe it. What else could be true? What is this feeling trying to teach me? How can I respond in strength? Example: instead of, "I'm not good enough," try, "I'm learning." I feel inadequate, but that doesn't define me. That's power. That's ownership. 2. The 90-second rule. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a neuroanatomist, made a shocking discovery. An emotion, in its pure biochemical form, only lasts 90 seconds. That's it. After 90 seconds, it's your thoughts that keep the emotion alive. This means you can feel rage, sadness, or anxiety, and it can pass like a wave if you don't feed it more stories. The next time you're emotional, try this. Sit still, breathe deeply, and say, "This will pass. I am riding this wave. I don't need to react. Just feel." Set a timer for 90 seconds if you must. You'll be shocked how quickly the intensity fades when you stop resisting or overthinking it. The storm will always feel big, but it's almost always short-lived, if you let it pass. 3. Breath-based grounding. This is your superpower. When your emotions spike, your breath is the quickest way to calm your nervous system. Try this technique called box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat for 2 to 3 minutes. This slows your heart rate, calms your thoughts, and returns control to your body. You shift from panic mode to presence, from chaos to clarity. Breath isn't just oxygen, it's control over your state. Real emotional strength equals feel it, plus face it, plus choose your response. This is the formula you must burn into your identity. Feel it. Don't numb, avoid, or escape your feelings. That makes them louder. Face it. Look your emotion in the eye. Ask it what it wants. Choose your response. That's where your power is. You are not your feelings. You are the one experiencing them. Just like clouds passing in the sky, your emotions are not permanent. They do not define you. They are signals, not sentences. Here's the truth most people never realize. You don't need to be ruled by your moods. You don't need to wait to feel better to move forward. You don't need to fix every emotion. You just need to manage them skillfully. The people who win in life, relationships, business, and health are not the ones who never feel pain. They're the ones who feel it, face it, and still move with intention. You're going to get triggered. You'll get frustrated, disappointed, anxious. That's human. But you have a choice in that moment. Let it control you, or breathe, label, reframe, and lead yourself through it. That choice is your real power. And over time, when you keep choosing wisely, something powerful happens. You stop fearing your emotions. You stop being afraid of breakdowns, bad days, and mood swings. Why? Because you've trained yourself to trust that no matter what happens inside you, you've got you. That's emotional strength, not the absence of feelings, but the presence of maturity, tools, and self-leadership. So here's your next move. Start practicing. Label emotions the moment they rise. Let them pass like waves. Don't fight. Don't feed. Use your breath to calm your state. And always remind yourself, I am not my emotion. I am the observer. I am in charge. Train this skill daily. Because if you can win the battle in your emotions, you can win any battle life throws at you. This is how you become mentally unshakable. You don't fight emotions, you master them. And when you do, your mind becomes your strongest ally. Let's keep building. Chapter 5. Build the mental gym. Mental strength doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from repetition. You don't get stronger just by watching motivational videos. You get stronger by training, daily, consistently, intentionally. Just like muscles need the gym, your mind needs a place to grow. Welcome to your mental gym. You're not just trying to survive life anymore. You're training to dominate it, with calm, clarity, and unshakable resilience. So today, we build the routine that rewires your brain for strength. Why a mental gym? Because willpower is not enough. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel clear. You won't always feel ready. But if you've trained your mind, like you train your body, your strength kicks in automatically. Mental toughness is a muscle, and just like any muscle, it grows through stress, rest, and repetition. The mental gym routine. This is your 3-part daily mental training. Simple, powerful, repeatable. 1. Morning mindset. Primer, 5 minutes. Start strong. Your first few minutes of the day shape the tone of your thinking. Most people wake up, grab their phone, and hand their mind to chaos. Not you. You're taking back the first 5 minutes. Here's what to do. A. Silence. 1 minute. Sit up. Breathe. Feel the ground. Say silently, I am here. I am calm. I am in control. B. Power question. 2 minutes. Ask, what kind of mindset will make me proud today? Visualize yourself showing up strong, focused, and grounded. C. Power statement. 2 minutes. Speak a daily mantra aloud. I don't chase ease. I chase growth. My mind works for me, not against me. I do hard things, even when I don't feel like it. This 5-minute habit rewires your baseline thoughts. From reactive to proactive. From scattered to sharp. From weak to winning. Second daily discomfort challenge. Mental growth lives in discomfort. Comfort makes you soft. Discomfort makes you sharp. Every day, do one thing that makes you mentally uncomfortable. On purpose. This is called the Daily Discomfort Challenge. Examples. Take a cold shower. Speak up when you usually stay silent. Say no to something you always say yes to. Have a difficult conversation. Walk somewhere instead of taking the easy route. Put your phone away for 2 hours. It's not about suffering. It's about choosing what's difficult to expand your strength. When you voluntarily enter discomfort, you rewire your brain to stop fearing it. And that is freedom. Third end-of-day reflection journal. Night is when you program the next version of you. Take 5 to 10 minutes each evening. No distractions. Just you and your thoughts. Use this simple format. A. Where did I choose strength today? Reflect on a moment where you held the line, said no, or showed up with courage. B. Where did I let the weak voice win? Be honest. No shame. Just data. C. What can I improve tomorrow? One specific tweak. Not 10. Just one. This practice builds self-awareness. And without awareness, there is no change. Mental reps. The invisible work that builds you. Every day you're given dozens of choices, and each one is a mental rep. Here are the real exercises in your mental gym. Doing what you fear. Fear shrinks your life. Every time you act in spite of fear, you stretch your courage muscle. Say what needs to be said. Try what feels risky. Step into the unknown. That's where your next level is hiding. Controlling urges. Every time you resist a craving, junk food, social media, procrastination, your self-command grows stronger. Say this to yourself. I am in charge. Not the urge, not the emotion. Me. Keeping your word. This is the discipline that builds identity. If you said you'd do it, even if no one is watching. Each time you follow through, you tell your brain, we are someone who finishes. That belief is priceless. The stronger you are mentally, the simpler your life becomes. Here's the irony. Weak minds chase shortcuts, hacks, and comfort, and end up with chaos. Strong minds do the hard, boring, daily work, and end up with clarity, power, and peace. Mental strength simplifies everything. You don't overthink, you act, you don't fear rejection, you express, you don't avoid pain, you use it, you don't blame others, you take ownership, you don't get distracted, you focus. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. And when you're strong, you don't need the world to be perfect to feel powerful. You bring the power wherever you go. Don't wait for strength. Train it. You now have the blueprint. Prime your mind each morning. Do one uncomfortable thing daily. Reflect and self-correct each night. Keep doing mental reps. Face fear. Resist urges. Keep your word. That's your gym. That's your strength. This is the slow work that builds unshakable people. And when it becomes who you are, you stop breaking when life hits. You start rising. Welcome to your mental gym. Now show up and train. Chapter 6. Choose hard things. Hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Jerzy Gregorek. Mental strength doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. It's born in fire. The fire of choosing what most avoid. The hard path. Look at anyone you admire. Anyone who radiates power, discipline, and presence. They didn't get that way by accident. They chose it, step by step, through pain, persistence, and struggle. They chose hard things. And that's what you're going to do too. Why the hard path is the only path. Most people want the rewards of strength without the price. They want confidence without rejection. They want mastery without failure. They want peace without confronting their pain. But there's a truth they can't escape. What you avoid controls you. What you face builds you. Choosing hard things is not about suffering for no reason. It's about deliberately walking into resistance, knowing that growth lives on the other side. Think of it like lifting weights. The weight must be heavy to trigger change. No resistance, no muscle, no challenge, no strength. The growth equation. Let's simplify personal growth into one clear formula. Pain plus persistence equals power. You can't control the pain life throws at you, but you can control how you respond to it. More importantly, you can create your own pain, controlled pain, and use it to grow stronger. That's the secret of high performers. They voluntarily walk into the fire because they know that's where transformation lives. Pain alone doesn't create power. Plenty of people suffer and stay stuck. It's pain plus persistence that creates unshakable strength. All strong people choose hard paths. Let's look at real examples of strength. The athlete who trains before sunrise through soreness and fatigue. The entrepreneur who risks failure, rejection, and sleepless nights to build something meaningful. The parent who wakes up early, works late, and still finds time to raise disciplined kids. The survivor who decides to heal, go to therapy, forgive, and let go of what broke them. The student who chooses to study when others party, to build a future worth having. These people are not lucky. They are trained. And their training ground is hardship. Chosen, not forced. They don't avoid the hard thing. They become the kind of person who does it anyway. The power of voluntary struggle. Here's the magic. When you choose hard things on purpose, the world stops scaring you. Why? Because you've already tasted pain. By choice. You've built a brain that doesn't run from stress, but grows from it. That's why we're introducing a powerful tool called the Voluntary Struggle Challenge. Here's your next level. Pick one hard thing, one challenge, one project that demands your full mental focus, and do it for 30 days, not because someone forced you, but because you chose it. Examples. Write 500 words every single day for 30 days. Work out daily, no matter what, for 30 days. Wake up at 5:30 a.m. and do 3 things before 7 a.m. for 30 days. Learn a new skill, coding, speaking, writing, editing, selling, with at least 1 hour of practice per day. Say no to all comfort distractions, social media, Netflix, sugar, complaining, for 30 days. Journal every night for 30 days about your decisions, emotions, and mindset. The rule is simple. Make it hard. Make it daily. Make it non-negotiable. This is not about perfection. It's about training your identity. Every time you wake up and follow through, you're not just building discipline, you're becoming someone you respect. The shift. From victim to warrior. When you avoid hard things, you live in fear. Fear of pain, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. But when you choose hard things, you take control. You start to say, I run toward challenge. I can handle what most people avoid. Hard doesn't scare me anymore. You don't become mentally strong by hoping for peace. You become strong by training in the storm. And guess what happens next? You start to crave hard things. Not because they hurt, but because they grow you. Identity is built through the hard path. Every time you take the easy road, you reinforce a weak identity. You tell yourself, I need comfort. I can't do this. I'll try tomorrow. But every time you take the hard road, even when you don't feel like it, you tell yourself something very different. I am not average. I do what's required, not what's convenient. I am stronger than I thought. That's how unshakable confidence is built, by keeping promises to yourself when it would be easier to quit. Your challenge starts now, so here's what you're going to do. 1. Choose one difficult thing you've been avoiding. 2. Make a plan to do it every day for 30 days. No exceptions. 3. Track your progress. 4. Reflect each night. What did I learn about myself today? It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about showing up daily, with effort, with intention, with strength. In 30 days, you won't just be different. You'll become someone else, someone who chooses discomfort for the sake of transformation. Strength is revealed in challenge. Here's what most people never understand. You don't build strength when life is easy. You reveal it when life is hard. And if you never choose hard things, you'll never know what you're capable of. But when you choose the pain, when you walk into the fire on purpose, when you stop waiting for motivation and start training your mind, that's when everything changes. Not just your habits, not just your confidence, your identity. You become someone no challenge can break. Not because you're lucky, but because you trained for this. Now, go choose the hard thing, and don't stop. Chapter 7. The Rise of a Mentally Strong Identity. You become what you do repeatedly. Not what you say, not what you wish, what you do. If there's one truth most people never realize, it's this. Mental strength is not just about habits. It's about identity. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems, and your system is powered by who you believe you are. If you believe you're lazy, you'll act lazy, even if you have big dreams. If you believe you're undisciplined, you'll quit, even if you want success. If you believe you're weak, you'll avoid pressure, even if you crave growth. But here's the powerful truth. Actions shape beliefs. Beliefs shape identity. Identity shapes your entire life. And if you want to build mental strength that lasts, not for a week, not for a challenge, but for a lifetime, you need to stop tweaking your actions and start upgrading your identity. I am the kind of person who... Mental transformation starts with one sentence. I am the kind of person who... Why is this powerful? Because instead of just trying to act strong, you're starting to be strong. You're not just doing things for results. You're becoming someone who naturally does those things. Let's look at the difference. I'm trying to work out. Weak, temporary. I'm not someone who skips workouts. Strong, permanent, I'll try to stop complaining. Uncertain, I don't complain, I solve. Identity-based power. I hope I'll be more focused, passive. I'm the kind of person who protects my attention. Active, intentional. The shift is small in words, but massive in results. I don't is greater, I can't. Here's a secret weapon to reshape your thinking fast. Say, I don't, instead of, I can't. I don't eat junk when I'm stressed. I don't hit snooze anymore. I don't make excuses when I mess up. Why is this important? Because can't is weakness. It implies something outside controls you. But don't is ownership. It means you made the rule. Psychology research backs this up. People who say, I don't, instead of I can't, are significantly more likely to follow through and feel empowered. Can't equals victim identity. Don't equals strong identity. One word can either chain you to weakness or anchor you in strength. Identity shift equals daily repetition plus integrity. To build a mentally strong identity, you need two things. 1. Daily affirmations, conscious rewiring. 2. Aligned action, proof through behavior. Let's break these down. 1. Daily identity affirmations. Your brain listens to what you say, especially when you say it with emotion and frequency. Start saying this daily, out loud. I am the kind of person who keeps showing up even when it's hard. I choose discipline over comfort. I face my pain. I don't run. I am not ruled by emotion. I lead it. I do what needs to be done, no matter how I feel. Write them. Speak them. See them. Put them on your wall, your lock screen, your mirror. Not because it's magic, but because repetition is how beliefs are installed, and beliefs are how identities are built. Second action that aligns. You don't believe your words until you see yourself act on them. So here's your rule. Every time you make a decision, big or small, ask yourself, what would a strong version of me do right now? Would they scroll, or would they read? Would they argue, or would they breathe and respond? Would they sleep in, or wake up and move forward? Your daily choices are bricks. Each one builds a house, a strong identity, or a fragile one. Don't underestimate the small decisions. The way you show up in ordinary moments shapes who you become in extraordinary ones. Stop trying. Start being. Many people live in an exhausting cycle. Try hard. Fail. Feel guilty. Try again. Burn out. That cycle happens when you treat discipline like a task instead of an identity. Here's the shift. Don't try to act mentally strong. Be the kind of person who does strong things. You don't need to fake it. You need to prove it to yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even when it's small, you chip away at the old you, and you carve out the new you, the old you versus the strong you. Let's define the battle clearly. The old you waits for motivation, while the strong you shows up with discipline. The old you avoids pain, but the strong you grows through pain. The old you lives in excuses, whereas the strong you lives in responsibility. The old you reacts emotionally, but the strong you responds with clarity. The old you doubts yourself, while the strong you builds self-trust day by day. The old you isn't bad, but it's outdated. It's built from fear, wounds, and years of comfort-seeking. Now you're choosing differently. You're creating a new version of yourself, on purpose, not by faking it, not by waiting, but by training, moment by moment, to become the kind of person you deeply respect. Final truth: your identity is a choice. You don't need to wait to feel confident. You don't need a perfect track record. You don't need approval, luck, or a perfect plan. You just need to choose. This is who I am now, not tomorrow, not when I feel ready. Now. And then, back it up. Every action becomes a vote for the identity you're building. Vote for the strong you, the disciplined you, the calm, clear, consistent you. Let your words say it. Let your actions prove it. Let your life reflect it. And one day, very soon, you won't just be trying to train your mind. You will be the person whose mind is already strong. Finally. Take a breath. Look at where you started, and look at where you are now. You came into this video with questions, with doubts, with weight on your shoulders. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you were hurt. Maybe a part of you had almost given up. But now, you're not that person anymore, because something deep within you has changed. You're no longer just hoping for strength. You're choosing it. You're no longer waiting for life to get easier. You're getting stronger. You're no longer asking, "Can I handle this?" Now you're saying, "Bring it on." This is what transformation looks like. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet. It's steady. It's powerful. The fight was never outside. It was always inside. You've seen it clearly now. Most people don't lose in life because life is too hard. They lose because their mind gives up first. But not you. Not anymore. You've trained your mind to stay in the fight. You've learned to stop listening to the voice of weakness and to lead with strength. You've faced the hard truth that comfort is a trap, that discipline is freedom, and that pain is part of the process. You've stopped asking for easy and started becoming equipped for hard. That changes everything. Yes, pain will come. But now you know what to do with it. You won't escape pain in life. But now, you don't have to fear it. You'll experience failure, setbacks, and emotional storms. But instead of being broken by them, you'll build with them. Instead of hiding, you'll step into discomfort on purpose. Because you know that's where your next level lives. You've realized the truth. Fear is not the enemy. Quitting is. Pain is not the problem. Avoidance is. Emotions are not the threat. Surrendering to them without thinking is. You're no longer a slave to what you feel in the moment. You're the leader of your mind. And you choose how to respond. That's strength. That's power. And it's yours now. Who you were is not who you are. Let's be clear. This isn't just a bunch of nice ideas. This is a decision, a line in the sand. You are no longer the person who negotiates with laziness, avoids responsibility, lets fear dictate their actions, waits to feel ready, breaks promises to themselves. That person is gone. Today, right now, you step into a new identity. You are the kind of person who shows up, who does what's hard, who trains their mind because they understand. Weakness is a choice. Strength is a lifestyle. And you've chosen strength. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a lifetime practice. Here's the truth no one wants to say. You don't arrive at mental strength. You practice it every day. You'll still wake up tired some days. You'll still want to quit. You'll still feel the pull of old habits, old doubts, and old voices. But now you have tools. You have perspective. You have identity. So when the storm comes, you won't fold. You'll tighten your grip, calm your breath, and keep moving forward. That's the difference. That's what training your mind does. It doesn't remove the pressure. It builds the strength to rise under it. A quote to remember. Before we close, I want to leave you with this. Train your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Because it truly does. Your ability to lead yourself, to hold the line when life shakes you, to stay focused, stay disciplined, stay you under pressure. That's what determines how far you'll go, how strong you'll become, and what kind of legacy you'll leave behind. It's not your talent, not your background, not your luck. It's your mind. So guard it, shape it, train it, daily, ruthlessly, relentlessly. Because your future, the one you really want, depends on it. What to do now? If something inside you is lit up right now, if you feel a shift, don't just move on. Do something about it. 1. Rewatch this video. Don't treat it like a hit of inspiration. Use it as a tool. Soak it in. Repeat it. Make it part of your training. Because repetition is how reprogramming works. 2. Share this with someone who needs strength. You never know who is one decision away from giving up, and who might rise because you handed them this lifeline. Be the person who spreads strength, not just seeks it. 3. Start training today. Don't wait. Pick one mental rep you can do right now. Sit quietly and observe your thoughts. Do something uncomfortable on purpose. Keep one promise to yourself before the day ends. Write your new identity down. I am the kind of person who... Just one action. Then repeat tomorrow. And the next day. Small reps, big results. That's how it works. Your journey starts here. Remember this. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to feel strong to act strong. You just need to start. So, start. Right now, you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to comfort, excuses, weakness, regret. The other path, the one you're on now, leads to discipline, resilience, power, and peace. It will be hard, but it will be worth it. Because at the end of that road is someone you'll be proud of. A version of you who didn't quit, didn't fold, didn't fade away. A version of you who trained their mind to be strong, and who built a life no weakness could destroy. Let that be your story. Let that be your legacy. Let that begin today.